Hello, welcome to Raven's Plains. My name is Raven Black. Today we're in Texas right now, but we're looking at two planes, the VflyteAir Piper Aero 3, and also the JustFlight. I believe it's the Piper Aero 3 Turbo. And we're going to be looking at the avionics in both of them and kind of do a compare and contrast of which plane works a little better and has some quirks and stuff about it, especially the Turbo Aero. But yeah, we're going to be taking a look at this and seeing which one is good. I've been looking for a plane for Oshkosh, which one I'm going to fly in the Pilot Edge Oshkosh thing. That if you don't know about, I'll put a link in the description below, or pop up something here after this is all done and recorded. But it's pretty cool. They do basically live ATC, the real air traffic controllers from Oshkosh. Do the fly-in at the Oshkosh Airport and X-Plane and P3D and all of the flight sims on the Pilot Edge network. So it's pretty cool. So how about I get this thing started and we'll get in VR and get this thing going. All right, we are in the VflyteAir, and I believe, yes, you are also in the VflyteAir. We're to unpause the game here. I learned that the hard way last time. And yeah, today we're going to be checking this thing out. This is the VflyteAir, like I said. One of the two arrows we'll be flying today. So we're going to take the lock off and power her on. Mixture to full. Left tank selected. Fuel looks good. And yeah, we'll turn this key. Actually, I'll turn the key here. There we go. And she's on. We'll turn on the avionics. So the first thing first. This thing has the Aspen, which I believe VFlight has put into a couple of their planes. It's pretty cool. Really great avionics package. And then you couple this with the Reality XP GTN 650, and you have a pretty serious package. It does have autopilot. I can pop this out here. We can turn the flight director on. We can turn nav mode on. Why is it only on heading right now? Interesting. So there's some quirks with the autopilots on some of these planes. Probably because I don't have any flight plan in here. We're going to do KRYW. We're just flying around Texas today. And you can see that this thing updated, which is cool. So I had an initial problem. So originally this thing would be black and it wasn't showing up. So I grabbed a new INI file for the Reality XP, which made it show up. But it also changed a bunch of other settings so that it wasn't working with the Aspen. And I can actually share those settings, I believe. They're going to pop up in 2D, so bear with me. But I just want to show those settings so that if you do have trouble with it, and actually I can pop it up this way and then I'll close it out the other way. If you do have problems with it, these were the settings that I was using to get it all working finally. Make sure those checkboxes are in the right place, especially the one that says auto slew on the connect HSI to CRS. If that wasn't, let's get it go blank for a second. Yeah, if that one wasn't selected, it wouldn't actually update the autopilot, but it was still working. But I had to check a few of these to get it all working. Though I did have, wait, I gotta close that up 1 second. Close, okay. I did have, my dad did a fresh install of the plane, and it actually fixed all of it anyway. So if you do have trouble, try fresh install. If not, you can look at those checkboxes, make sure they're the same, and everything should go well for you. And let's pop this back out and see if the nav will work now. Good. And we can set the vertical speed too, so it's not going to stop at any particular altitude. But I am going to program one in anyway. Offset setting, altitude. Oh, there it is. It's up at the top there. I'm going to go to 2500, 2550, 2500. And the speed looks like it's set to 140 knots, which will be lucky if we ever get that. And in that, we'll take off. And then in the air, I'm going to switch to a flight plan to land on the particular runway and see how this thing handles that. We're going to need one set of flaps. We'll pull that up there. And that's set. And yeah, we can get the Barrow as well. If I go back to the flight plan, select KGTU, waypoint info, and we want frequencies ATIS. And we'll flip-flop that.
Breakaway park weather. Wind calm. Visibility more than 10.
Oops.
Sky conditions 3,900 scattered. Temperature 13. Dew point -15. Altimeter 2992.
2992. So over here, if you click Barrow, and we'll just Barrow.
Breakaway park weather. Wind calm.
That's the heading.
Visibility
Barrow.
more than 10. Sky
There,
conditions
2992.
3,900 scattered.
All right.
Temperature 13. Dew point
So we have the ATIS. And we'll just go back to map mode here. And it looks like we are set to take off. So we're taxiing on out. Oh wait, no we're not. We don't have the fuel pump should be on. And beacon, strobe, taxi. My bad. Forgetting things. I haven't made a checklist for this plane yet. It's on my list of checklists I need to make. So one thing to note on this lever in VR, I can pull it up and down normally like the lever moves. It's a little bit different in the other Piper, which is why I'm pointing it out right now. So something to pay attention to. I'm also going to be looking at, the VR stuff. Everything in here works really well. Dial switches, everything VR wise. Frame rate, it's really great in VR. Pretty much it's a solid arrow. Once I got past the getting the 650 to talk to the Aspen. That was a big deal, and that took a while. And I have another stream. I think I flew this, and it wasn't working at all either. But I got that resolved, and that was probably because when I replaced that INI file, it overwrote some settings it shouldn't have. But, and if you want a copy of my INI file with the correct settings, it is in the description below currently, so you can grab that if you feel like it. Alright. And I think lights, camera, action, right? I think we're all good. I'm going to set the, not that. Set the heading bug. And we are good to go. Has a slight pull to the left from the prop, but not too bad. I'm going to trim it down a little bit because I've noticed that it tries to take off before it should. Oh my god. What the heck was that? It spun. Trimming it down was not a good idea. Do not trim the plane down. I thought that was going to help me take off. That was weird. Alright, so that's a little bit of a bug. I've never seen it just jolt off the runway like that. It just yeeted itself. It's all the way down. Flaps are down. That was weird. Yeah, I'm a little confused about that. I'm going to actually turn around and land and see what the deal was with that. If it was just I put too much down trim in, which I just clicked it once. I just didn't want it to try to lift off so crazy. That was weird. So, well, actually, we can test the autopilot here. I'm going to gain some altitude here a little bit. 1500, and we'll just do, we'll set the heading we have now, do altitude, heading, and autopilot on. And we'll just kind of head this way while I set this up, because I'm going to change this flight plan back to landing, just remove that, landing back at KGTU. Jeez, cannot talk today. Runways, that was really weird. We want to land on number 11 and do procedures. RNAV 11. We're to do not vectors. Load, approach, and activate. Supposedly it's supposed to be activated. Activate leg. And is it working? Doesn't really look like it is, does it? Oh, it's not working because I didn't select nav. So we're going to go through this approach and land on our runway here. I don't know what's beeping. Oh, I know what's beeping. It yeah, it doesn't like this altitude because my gear is down, or my gear is up, so it's a little confused. We can gain some altitude though. Oops, dang it all. Nav and do vertical speed. And pull her up, gain a little more altitude. It doesn't like being down that low with the gear up. We're gonna go up to 2,000. But yeah, I want to land and see what the deal was with that takeoff, because that was freakishly weird that it just spun to one side. There's my trim wheel. And I'm gonna, it's neutral right now, but I'm gonna check that before we take off again too at this airport. And I think I can skip some of these points. Let's see what it's doing here. Yeah, can Can we just go to this one? Yeah, it's gonna turn around. Oh, it was gonna try to do a full huge circle. And we have enough altitude here, so that should be good. Just gonna edit out the heading here. Yeah, I was amazed I even got off the ground. I thought that was it. It was just gonna turn and off into the dirt. Unless it got like bad feedback from my pedals or something, but I don't think so. So it should be turning all the way back around towards the airport. We're gonna go down. Oops. I pressed the down, I thought. Oh, right. Vertical speed down. We'll go down just slightly here. As we turn towards the runway we're going to be landing on. Should be that one right there. And we'll start slowing her down too. And I don't need a taxi light, but I am going to need fuel pumps and landing light. So the Autopilot definitely works really well. It works really well with the Aspen. You can see. And there's our runway we're going to be landing on. Getting into the white arc here. We are about 3 nautical miles from the airport. Let's speed this up a little bit more. But yeah, that was a very odd takeoff, for sure, to say the least. I just wanted to check to make sure everything's streaming good. Alright, and landing. We can slow her down between the arc here, and we did the gear, sort of flaps, slow her down, and we'll turn the autopilot off at this time. Take her in nice and easy. The flaps. Yeah, she's floating. The cool thing about the arrows is they land real slow, and so which makes them a little bit easier. Especially if you're getting have to land at Oshkosh and have crazy traffic and planes all around. It's a little bit smoother experience. Still a bit high, but it is a very long runway. Full flaps now. This thing really slows down. Out here. Just set her down nicely. It's weird because it feels like it's just riding on ice for some reason. Not like the tires are sticking very much. Strange. I wasn't doing this before. we're just going to pull off and turn around and take off again. Well, landing wise it worked fine. Taking off, that was a little weird. Alright, we'll turn around and head out on this thing again. Get her all set up right over here. Alright, let's get her set up again for takeoff and get our flight plan set up again. Can I just delete this whole thing? Yes, thank you. Alright, we are at KGTU. Going to KARYW. Nope. Alright, we got the flight plan in. Where to go? Vertical speed. 450 nav, flight director's on. That'll get us up there. The trim, we want it at neutral. Should be good. We want one set of flaps, not two. There we go. And yeah, we want the fuel pump on. We don't need landing lights. Probably taxi, strobe. And we're good. So let's take off again and see if this does better, because that was concerning. The plane doing some weird stuff. If I'm going to look at both these planes, I got to take into account how they fly as well. And that was very weird. Alright. Pedals are free, everything's good. I didn't slam down on one of them, I don't think. Alright, let's try this again. Seems alright so far. 50, 60. She's in the air. Gear up, flaps down. All things considered, that was a much better takeoff than the other one. So I don't know what that was. Maybe it was like input lag or something. Oops. I can't go up 900 feet per minute. That's not a thing this plane does. So yeah, maybe that was just input lag from the pedals or something like that, but it seems it was fine. It does get a little like skiddy when it starts to take off. A little bit of pedal work you got to do. Feels a little weird. Does that on landing as well, so it's just a little kind of touchy. So we should be meeting up with our flight plan here. We are going up to 2,500 feet. And actually, I'm going to put in, let's go to flight plan, look at this, waypoint info, runways. We want to land on 15. And so, procedure, RNAV 15. Not going to do vectors. Load approach and activate. Again, it's just beeping because the landing gear's up, I think. I'll turn the fuel pump off. And taxi lights can come off. Still going up. Everything's in the green, so I don't know why it would be beeping other than that fact alone. And we're a little low, and the landing gear's up. Now, one thing I was noticing that I'm pretty sure is not set up correctly. Map's set up. Where is track up? Yeah, that's not what I want. North up. That's how I like to look at it. There we go. Now things make sense again. So now we're on our way over. Still gaining some altitude. Set this to cruise, so pull this back to get 25 here. 24. I'll pull this back to get 24. Still climbing at a good clip. Sure, I can. Oh, this thing also has headphones as well, so I can get a lot quieter in here, so you can hear me. And now that noise is my mic getting close to the adapter. We'll maintain this altitude here. And we'll cruise right along. So we're on our way to our airport here. I'm actually going to skip one of these points here. I want to go directly to Tharp. So we're just going to go down here and go Tharp. Activate leg. Boom. And there we go. Well, we're heading that way. And the plane sure is quiet with the headphones on. But yeah, so far Avionics working pretty good. I had that weird takeoff, which I'm betting was some kind of lag from my pedals or something like that. That just said it was going left 100%, and then did something weird because that was strange. Oh, it really doesn't want to do that, does it? Here, we can activate the other point before it. Yeah, it's trying to cut everything. That's all right. Just gonna turn back out to that first RNAV point. We're still, if we look at this, 25 or 24, 24. The cool thing about this plane is a lot of these dials you can just pop out. So if you're in VR, I mean, you can pop this stuff out if you can't see it really well to have a look at anything. It's not bad, including this. So if you need to adjust some stuff a little bit more, you do that. Of course, you can pop that out, which is, not that one. Oh, I thought it was under the seat somewhere. It probably is. But yeah, apparently I already touched something under there. Well, yeah. So all that stuff pops out, which is unique. I'm trying to think of what else is going good. I'm looking at my fuel a second, so we can turn the fuel pump on and swap the tank. I'm going to turn that off. So we did that. Let's see what other features this thing have that's pretty cool. I mean, kind of your standard stuff, like all this stuff moves and oops. And the doors open, all that. Lighting, I was going to turn the lights up on the dimmer switch. There we go. And the brightness up on that. But yeah, all the lights dim and stuff like that. So that's cool for night flying. I know there's like a dome light here. Let me turn that on or off. You can turn these on and off too as well. So if you want to do some night flying, this would be a pretty cool plane to do that in. little window opens too, but it's gonna get real loud if I open that. And so yeah, that's the plane. A lot of cool stuff in it. And yeah, the Pipers aren't the fastest. We're doing 128 knots. Going to our nav point here. But autopilot's working pretty good. It's gonna spin us around, line us over the runway. Yeah, for the Pipers, this one's pretty good. I like it. It's actually pretty cheap too. I think it's only like $20 or $15 roughly is about how much it costs. I think I picked it up even on sale for like 15 or something. Maybe like $29.99 is like the starting price of this thing. So it is cheaper than the JustFlight we're about to get into. But it has a lot of cool features. It comes with a lot of stuff. Especially when the Aspen. So there's two versions. You can do it with or without the Aspen. But the Aspen's really cool. Has a lot of cool features and stuff. So about now I should start turning towards the airport, which is back that way somewhere, roughly. Turning in 6 seconds actually. So we'll be doing that. Here we go. Oh, is it entering the holding pattern? I do not want to enter the holding pattern. Activate this flag. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes these procedures just have the holding pattern in it, so it'll just fly over and circle until you're ready to land. We are ready. So yep, all the radios and everything work. It has DME stuff in it too as well. I was reading about that. Transponder works good. I think the transponder totally syncs with this thing too. Let's see if I do 7,000, which is, yep, totally syncs. So, whoops, not what I wanted. We're in America, 1200. So we are circling around now, and as you can see, we're on our way to landing. And this point, we're supposed to be at 3,200 feet, which we're not going to be at, but that's all right. The next point, 2,100, and then the runway. So a lot in there, but the runway is roughly about 10 nautical miles away, so we're getting there. I hope everyone's having a good evening. Flying some planes. So yeah, this right here I'm using Ortho, Google 16 level 16 I should say, which is what I do for everything except for around the airports I do 19. So just so when you get close to the runways and stuff, it doesn't get all blurry. And yeah, I did my own livery for this plane. I believe one of the, yeah, it says Ravens planes on that wing there. It has its own paint job. I haven't done that for the JustFlight. Not yet anyway. I think I started one. I haven't got around to finishing it. But we're going to fly the regular Aero. I think it's still turbo, but it doesn't have the high tail wing like it comes with two versions, one with and one with a normal tail and then one with the high wing tail. It looks kind of like a DA62. So that one's a little different. Alright, coming in here. I think that's the runway there. We'll start making our, whoops, let's Keep the altitude right now. And actually, we're going to do vertical speed, and we're going to go down by about 150. Just a little bit. Well, we'll slow her down too. And start heading down. And we are about 8 nautical miles. We still got a ways. Maybe I will just level off here still. And keep this on point for now. Still on lookout. I think that's my runway down there. That's alright. Get a little bit closer. We're also going to be slowing way down a bit, so. Get her in there. Alright, I'm actually just going to take over. Gonna trim her down, slow her down, get the prop up, fuel pump coming on, landing lights coming on. Oh, there we go. I don't want to get too low before we get there. Yaw damper might be on, is it? No. Stop it. Oh. I don't need the autopilot. I was just trying to turn all that off. Yeah, I know. I need to slow her down to the white arc so I can put the flaps down. Alright, here we go. I need to get down, flaps 1 down. Trim her up here a little bit. Just slowing down a little bit too much. So we got 85 right now, flaps 2. Some more. Quite a dense forest area for Texas, I'd say, but it exists. It's kind of interesting that out here is all hills and trees. That's it for the flaps. Slow her down a little bit more. I don't want to stall her out. There we go. Nice. And you gotta be subtle on the pedals. This plane, as you like to see, it kinda spins a little. Just a little. If I apply the brakes, there we go. Now she's solid. And we can probably make this one. Yeah. I'm just gonna park her over here. And leave her be, and we're going to switch planes over to the JustFlight Turbo Aero and try that one out. Let you know of the interesting quirks with that. But here we go. Can I pull this up, please? There we go. Kill the engine. Turn off all the lights in this puppy. And clean it up. There we go. Alright, and you can open this and that. And yeah, so oops. That was the VflyteAir Aero 3, Piper Aero 3, and now we're going to switch over and get into the JustFlight Aero and see how that flies compared to this. So hang on, I'll be right back. I gotta reset the sim. Alright, we are back in the plane. Let me check everything to make sure it's working. It is. Alright, so this is the JustFlight Aero 3. Turbo Aero 3. Couple things. One, when you start in the plane, this is where its reset position is, which is kind of like way back and high. And there's another program I think I'll be showing off in my next stream. Couple programs. That will make the where your VR seat, you can actually set it and it'll just reset to the exact same spot every time, so you don't have to do the whole adjusting your seats and everything every time you get in a plane, which gets really annoying after a while. So a couple things I learned about this plane. One, it does have the 750, but one, we're going to unpause it. Two, you need to actually, whoops, what the heck? You need to actually start without the 750 in the plane, just with the regular, I think it's what, the 530. If you start, and I'll set my key here too. If you start it with that in the plane, it won't work. It won't connect to the autopilot, it won't do anything. Second thing is, if you have a honeycomb yoke, which has the buttons for the avionics separated out, you have to turn those on in the honeycomb, because there isn't an avionics switch in here, even though it's still tied to that input. If your yoke doesn't have it, it doesn't get tied to that input, and you don't have to turn it on. But for me, since I have a honeycomb and it has those switches, I have to turn those on because they don't actually exist in the plane, even though it's still tied to it. So those two things first. Like I said, there was a lot of quirks when I was playing around with the Turbo Aero, trying to get everything to work, and yeah, it was quite interesting. So let's get this plane started up here. We got power, prop that, pick the left tank. I want to see what the fuels are at. Cool, they're about the same. We're going to turn the fuel pump on, which is back here. We're going to turn beacon collision on. Alright. And then should start right up. Whoops, up top. She starts up nice and smooth. We can turn that fuel pump off for now. It's really loud. It is also directly, look at these things right behind those, which happens in the real plane. And why is my, oh yeah, this thing turns on. I don't think, I forget what it is. Is it this one up top? Nope. Menu. Enter. Flight plan. Why is it not turning on? I'll toggle these switches here. I used to be able to turn it on. Oh, there it goes. Now it's on. That was a car that came out of nowhere. That was interesting. Alright, so now that it's on, and you can go to flight plan. There's the flight plan. You should be able to now switch it over to the Reality XP 750, which then should start up. Yep. And also, I just want to make sure, you have to make sure that it's set to the master device. I'm going to show you my settings on this thing too, just in case you have different settings. So these are my Reality XP settings, which probably popped up on the screen. They did. Sorry, everything goes black when I lift up my helmet. But so these are the settings I'm using for this thing. Everything seems to work just fine. So I'll close that. And we'll get on our way here. We're going to fly back to KGTU, Georgetown. Decord Georgetown. The cool thing with this is the much bigger unit, the 750. So you do get that out of the plane, which is cool. The autopilot. Wow. The autopilot is down there. It is. Here, I'll just, I think I can just hide this right here. Yeah. It is quite primitive. You're going to want to put this on nav. And then, the thing should already be selected. Yep. And, we'll get that all going once we get in the air. So we are set. You can do one set of flaps. I did notice that in this plane the flap lever. In the VFlyte, you have to pull up from here, but you can actually pull it up from right here, which is a little closer in VR. In the JustFlight, it's a little different. It has all the other same bells and whistles. You can flip down, or try to flip down these things, or never put them back up. It's going to be annoying, isn't it? It's just like the real plane. So yeah, it has all the same bells and whistles as the VFlyte. Now here's the throttle thing, so you have to push forward and back to get that thing to go. Where I could do up and down in the... oh, that was weird. Like, why is the plane sinking forward? That was strange. Oh, there's a hill there. Weird. I didn't even know the hill was there. I was like, why am I sinking forward? It doesn't feel right. Yeah, there's a bit of a hill over there. And so we'll taxi on down through here. Oh, she just hauls. Oh, actually this is not the way to go. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I haven't taken this route before. That's because it does not go to the runway. We're just going to travel onto the dirt a little bit here. And take our one little exit we do have over here. Yeah, this airport's a little strange that you have hangars that wins always. Did you see the entire like janky setup I had to do to get the Reality XP working? Oops. Sorry, I need to adjust my headset here. There we go. I don't know, man. Oh, there's the Piper Arrow. I forgot I left that in. That was where the screenshot took place for the thumbnail for this. And then she's still there. So there's the JustFlight. We were just flying, or not the JustFlight, the VFlyte. Now we're in the JustFlight. So lights, camera, action. I think everything is good. Fuel pump on. Nav is set. Alright, we're good to take off. Because it's a turbo, I want to keep that light off so I'm not overburning the engine. And also she gets real loud, I forgot about that. We got 60, 5, she wants to go fast. Gear up. Flaps down. We are out of here. Gain some altitude. We're gonna head up here to. Yeah. So on takeoff, notice that the wheels weren't chirping on takeoff, which is cool. And it did feel a little more grounded. I will say that the JustFlight does feel a little bit more grounded, even with its quirks. We'll see if the autopilot works here in a second. And taper on off. We're trying to get to 2,500 here, and I'm just going to turn that way as well. Oops. Speed is crazy right now. There we go. And also this one does have headphone jacks as well, just like the VFlyte. So now you can hear me a little better. This plane is louder than the VFlyte for sure. And, we are at our altitude. So the altitude hold button. Well, first let's see. Let's flip the autopilot on, and it is going to follow my line. The altitude hold is the Piper logo that's above the part that says nav and all that stuff, and it should hold my altitude at wherever I set it at. It's kind of a little hack. Feels a little hacky. I don't know why they put like a 750 in it and all this stuff, and then like the worst autopilot ever. That part's a little weird. We are picking up speed. So right now it looks like we are heading back towards our magenta line here, and hopefully it'll intercept that and not fly directly through it, because it can do that as well if it's not connected correctly. And no, it looks like she's gonna capture it. So yeah, you have to set up the Reality XP stuff a little differently when you get in the plane to get it working. If you're going from cold and dark, if you start with the plane running with the Reality XP, it works fine. So, and I was looking in the forums, and it's a bug they've been fighting back and forth trying to fix, but it definitely exists in the JustFlight. She's still a bit loud. Well, we're going to put a procedure in for KGTU. Waypoint info. I want to look at the runways a second here. We're going to land on 11. Why not? So, put info, procedures, RNAV 11. And we want to pick the first point, load approach, and activate. And she should. Yep, she's flying out to the first point. I don't know if we want that one actually. I may activate this one. Interesting. Alright, I want to see... Yeah, it's showing too much crap. Alright. Where is this plane going? Yeah, I'm going to go... I'm going to activate this one. Let's go towards the airport for now. If you can. Oh, I screwed up the autopilot. It is confused. It may turn all the way around. We'll see. Yeah, it looks like we're going to do a little circle up here at about, is that 2,800 feet roughly? Doing 135 knots. Oh, we get cruise speed going here. Where is that's vertical speed? Ah, there they are. Full pressure. Pull her way back. $24. Oops, not that one. This one back to 24. Let's see what she cruises at here. Still falling. 15. That's alright. It doesn't seem right. $110 knot cruise speed. So she did turn all the way around. And when we get closer, actually I'm going to speed this up. That's nice that I can do that, but A little speeder. I believe we're going to runway 11. What I could do is when we get closer, I could activate OBS mode. We can kind of take a route around and get back down to the airport. Don't need the fuel pump anymore. Oops. Get that up. And lights are off. I didn't put anything up here, did they? Nope. Okay. No cable. Why? Stay back there. So yeah, no Aspen, but it has all the gauges you need, everything you need. Works with the 750, which is really nice. Flies nice. It does feel a lot smoother on the ground than the V-Flight. I forget what this thing feels like to land, so I'm going to be trying that in just a bit. But still a nice plane. Like I said, the VR throttle controls are a little strange. I guess back and forth is the same. I mean, up and down works, but more power to them for doing something different. As we gain on our airport here at doing about 135 knots, halfway. I wonder how fast I could push this without over revving the engine here. That's about as fast as I can push it. So we're getting 140 knots, which is moving quite along, quite quickly. So, all right. I'm just going to select heading mode. Let me select my heading here. There we go. We are going to select heading, which means I could do OBS off this thing, and we want 011, enter. Is that actually coming off that runway though? What if I did nav now? She just slightly turns. Oh, there's the airport, so we're just gonna fly directly over it. I was a lot closer than I thought. Yeah, we can just load this procedure in anyway. Let's go activate leg. We're going to do a little circle over the area. That's where my speed is. Fly over the airport a bit. Yeah, I don't think I had the right runway for the OBS mode, but that's alright. Trying to do something fancy. What is this cable stuck on? There it goes. Jeez. Yeah, it's navigating pretty well. Works with the very primitive autopilot pretty well. So it'll also be a great plane to fly into Oshkosh, so definitely on the list. You have to be able to see out pretty well because you're going to see a lot of planes in the sky when you're flying into Oshkosh. Even in the sim, it's pretty crazy just seeing all the planes. I guess we have to practice rocking our wings, right? As the autopilot's like, what are you doing? Madman. Yeah, this thing is pretty fast, and then you can slow it down to nothing for landing, so that's kind of the bonus of the turbo, right? You get there quickly, still have the, still don't have to land at, 85 or 90 like the Cirrus. You actually land at like 70, 60. Slower way down. Man, this thing's gonna fly me way out there. But we're gonna go back into heading. And we're gonna go into heading mode. And I'm gonna change us to be kinda over here. I think we need to go a little bit farther. There we go. About right there. Yeah. Beautiful day. Yeah. Yeah, VR and X-Plane has improved so much over the last couple years. It's just amazing. And Microsoft Flight Sim, you still can't touch any of the buttons or dials, and most of their avionics don't work correctly. They have graphics. That's what they have. Wait, what did that say? Oh, vertical waypoint, right. Alright, now I can just kind of skip a few of these points, and we're going to head straight to this one. Activate this leg, change it to nav, and start slowing her down. And we're going to turn off the altitude, because I want... Oh, we're going to turn off the autopilot as well, apparently. So I don't have a good way while the autopilot's on. I mean, to kind of lose some altitude. I'm going to hand fly this for a little bit here, just to slow her down, lose some altitude. I wonder where it's getting its altitude from that it wants to, 2,500, I want to go down just a little bit more. It'll settle down a little here. And the trim is touchy though, I will say that. I mean, the trim wheel I can use here, right? So... even that's a little touchy. Alright, we're gonna turn this on, that on, turn that on. And that should get us all lined up here. Let me find this runway. Should be. Airport is a ways away, I think. Yes, it is. A little ways away. We could speed this up a little. Oh, sorry. You were trying to link something? Yeah, sorry, I have to ban links because spammers will come in and spam whatever they're selling. I might be able to like allow him to post links. Don't remove. Don't do that. Don't do any of that. Yeah, sorry, I don't really have a way of making it so you can post some links at the moment. Alright, so you can see the runway coming in. I guess I'll hand fly it, right? I'll start slowing her down some more so I can get the gear down and all that. Covered in a cloud here. There we go. Gotta trim her up a little bit. I'm gonna add some speed a little bit. And we'll do gear down. Landing lights on. That's on. And my flaps, if I can get this thing to come up. And trimmer back around. Whoa, there's some lag. Another set of flaps. Alright, we're all set for landing here. Getting a little slow for where I'm at. Alright, full flaps. We are landing. Oh, I need a little more power. I feel like I'm a little high. I feel a little high. I don't know if that's actually true. Alright, coming down. We're going to start easing off the power here. Alrighty. Oh, the round out. Come on now. Nice. Yeah, the VFlight does land better. Takes off better, lands better. It doesn't feel as slidey as the VFlight does, like at all. I mean, I can I can move the pedals quite a bit, and hey, I'm crossing a runway. Hopefully nobody's around. Hopefully, yeah, you can hit the pedals quite a bit, and it's not going to slide you all over the place like the VflyteAir does. So it does have that going for it. The Avionics work, so hey, that's pretty cool. Both these planes are great. This one does cost a bit more than the VflyteAir though. Handling characteristics, like I said, on the ground, landing, taking off is a bit different between the two. But the rest of it, it's pretty solid either way. I'd recommend both planes. But the JustFlight does feel a little more solid, so I've never parked over here, so I'm looking for the painted lines, which don't seem to exist. So I'm gonna, well, it sounds like my engine quit. I'll park next to this Cessna here. There we go. Presto. Let me take this off so we can hear the plane. Oh, I did land with one tank with a lot more fuel in it. I tried doing that in the VflyteAir with just a little bit, and it seemed to be a little more squirrely than normal too, which is interesting. There. Pull that up so we have some brakes, and we can shut this thing down. Oh, there's a little tab on here too to be able to kill the engine. And oh, that's low pressure thing. So, and it has the same door stuff, except you actually have to push the door open on this one, which is cool. Well, other than that, this is the JustFlight Piper Aero 3 Turbo, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of my review, or I guess showcase of these two planes, and some of the quirks and some of the interesting stuff, some of the cool stuff in VR that each one of them has. Being able to use the Reality XP stuff is really cool, and both of them, so it makes flying pretty easy. But thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the skies.